What's up, peeps? Nick Battle, aka Nino's Corner, man. First off, if you like this content that is coming your way, hit that subscribe button. It means a lot. Hey, and if you listen to this on the podcast, go download, go like, support, comment, 5-star review on all the podcast streaming platforms, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Breaker, the whole nine. We are there wherever there is a podcast. But first off, guys, let's get into our sponsors, man. So support for the Nino's Corner podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped just launched their fourth generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, folks, the 4.0. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you: 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code manscaped.com. Again, folks, look at that banner box down there, 20% off, promo code Nino's Corner at the website manscaped.com. Also, folks, you guys understand that I do have a clothing line, and it is called Nino's Corner Merch, man. So you can go to NinosCornerMerch.com and get you 10% off, man, using the code NCPeeps10 at NinosCornerMerch.com. You see it there in the banner box as well. But today, guys, we are not here to talk about my promo deals with Manscaped, my promo codes with my clothing line. We're here to talk about the week 9 recap, Texas versus Iowa State. Hey, man, Texas just lost their fourth straight game. And no difference against Iowa State. This team completely faltered. It's just not a good game. You know, Texas has one option, actually two options in the offensive side of the ball, and that's Bijan Robinson. And once you stop Bijan, it is now the Xavier Worthy show. But since we don't have a Jordan Whittington there to take some pressure off of Worthy, teams are just double covering him and not letting him do his thing to get open and to make plays. So we have basically a situation where Oklahoma kind of figured us out in the second half. Oklahoma State did their thing to really limit us and pretty much expanded upon what OU did to us. Baylor did the exact same thing. They kind of mastered it, and we know what Campbell is at Iowa State. He is a guy who is a technician when it comes to defenses and stopping Texas. He's done it quite often here in the past, and he completely shut us down for the entire game, not just the second half. The entire game caused us to switch quarterbacks throughout the game. Went from Casey to Hudson Card, and there was no difference. For all the fans that were screaming to get Hudson in, we got Hudson in, and we saw what happened. It's the exact same thing without an offensive line, which is what I kind of talked about in my last video. Go check it out, my Where's the Beef episode, where basically showed how Texas was in the Big 12 tied for dead last in the offensive line recruiting. 18 scholarship commits, including transfers. Only 12 or 13 are left on the roster as of now over the last 5 years, which is the lowest in the Big 12, tied with Kansas. The guys who were up there at the top, go figure, OU and Baylor. And people are saying, well, hey, Baylor's not doing that great. Well, how's Baylor up in the top as far as the number of just recruits they have on the line? Well, they went through 2 complete rebuilds in a 5-year span. 2 different coaches. One guy took them from a 1-win team to an 11-win team and a near Big 12 championship. And the other guy now took a 1-win team last year and has them 7-2 right now. So 2 complete rebuilds in a 5-year period. Texas, yeah, here's what it is. So you guys are here to hear me talk about Baylor or OU, but you are here to hear me talk about the Week 9 breakdown of stats and how we looked against Iowa State and the metrics. So first off, guys, let's talk about the Texas offense versus the Iowa State offense. Texas offense, man, NCN score 27.8. You guys know the average NCN score for an offense is 40 points. Texas had a 27.8. Not efficient in the first quarter, 18.4%. 18.4 points in the first quarter, 0% explosive play rate, meaning plays that are 15 yards or more in the first quarter. So no explosive plays in the first quarter. Second quarter, they had a 48.1, which is above the NCAA average, 5% explosive play rate. You want that number up, guys, to be honest with you, around 12 to 15%. Third quarter, 2.5 point NCN offense. It's truly garbage. 0% again XP rate, meaning no explosive plays in the third quarter. And in the fourth quarter, 56.3 NCN, best quarter they had. Of course, the game was over. A lot of gimme yards, a lot of, um, you know, uh, uh, a lot of plays that were given to the Texas offense by the Iowa State defense just to let the game go by. So 56.3 point NCN offense in the fourth quarter, 7% XP rate for that quarter. And for the game, guys, like I said, 27.8 with a 3% XP rate. Horrible. Now, let's look at Iowa State's offense. Not too much better than Texas' offense, but guess what they did do? They ran the ball well. Hall had an amazing game. Had a 47-yard run in the first drive of the second half. So people stop saying that the Texas defense is gassed and it's just so tired of being on the field so much. It was the first drive after halftime, meaning that they had time to rest in the halftime, first drive, and they still allowed a 47-yard run by Hall, which kind of broke the game open. But like I said here, first quarter, 30.8 points, 35.8 in the second quarter, 88.8 in the third quarter, which was the quarter that Brees Hall actually broke out. 40.6 points in the fourth quarter, and overall 39.8 point NCN offense. So basically a 40, which is the average score for NCN offense. Their offense was not really that good, but our defense made them look great, if that makes any sense. So let's go to the, talking about defense, let's go to the defense side of the ball. And on the defense side of the ball, the average NCN defense for a college here in college ball is 45 points. Texas had a 47.8 NCN defense for the entirety of the game. And by quarter, 44.5 points in the first, 53.3 in the second quarter, 7.6 points there was in the third quarter, which broke the game open. And 48.1 points in the fourth quarter. You guys understand, going into halftime, Texas had the lead. It wasn't a big lead, but they had the lead. And with them having the lead, it kind of didn't feel right because we had the lead in the last three games, and we still ended up losing the game after halftime. So I guess you can say it's the fourth game in the row. Texas had the lead at halftime and lost the game. But that was Texas defense in a nutshell. They were horrible on in the third quarter, and it cost them the game. And it's not just the defense, guys. This is the offense. This is the whole team. Just a horrible play all around from the offense and defense. From the Iowa State side of the house, they had a good first quarter defensive stand there, 68 points, 43.2 point NCN defense in the second quarter, 79.2 in the third quarter, and 36.8 in the fourth quarter. I didn't really count that fourth quarter because that was a lot of gimme yards, a lot of junk yards, for Texas. And so, but they finished with a 78.5 NCN defense, which is truly amazing. It's especially considering 45 points is the average for the NCAA. So, guys, if a team, per my NCN metrics, if a team has a better NCN offense and defense than the opposing team, they win the game like 94% of the time, 93% of the time. So there you have it. Iowa State won the NCN offense battle, the NCN defense battle, and also the explosive play battle. And if I'm not mistaken, Bill Walsh had a great quote: "The team that has at least one more explosive play usually wins the game at a tune of like 87% or something like that." Of course, they also won that battle when it comes to the XPs. And give me a second. Let me take a look at what the XPs were. And I can tell you right now, Texas had 2 explosive plays for the game. And Iowa State had 10. Think about that for a minute. They had 10. They had 10 explosive plays. We had 2. So there we go. Way to go, Texas. What a hell of a game. All gas, no brakes. I digress. Yeah. So let's go back to the charts. All right. Take a look at the quarterbacks. Now, we all know that Hudson Card ended up getting put in after the third or fourth drive. So he took out Casey. And he did no better than Casey, let's be honest. So just looking at the quarterbacks, so Brock Purdy versus both UT quarterbacks, he bested them in the passing game, 49% successful play rate compared to 21% for Texas. And his rushing rate was worse than Texas, but not by much. Both of them were under 40%, which is the average. And so 17 for Brock Purdy and 25% for Casey and Hudson Card. Overall, though, 45% SP rate for Brock Purdy, 21% for the two Texas quarterbacks. I was going to break them down between Casey and Hudson, but they just didn't have enough snaps. Well, Casey didn't have enough snaps to compare to Hudson's, and both of them played horrible. And so, having two horrible metrics up there wouldn't have looked good. So, next one, guys, let's take a look at the per down rate when it comes to the successful play rate. And first down, 62% for Brock Purdy, followed by 53% on second down for Purdy, and then 22% passing successful play rate for Brock Purdy on third down and 0 on fourth down. Texas, 23% SP rate on first down, 10% on second down, 27% on third down. Horrible. There you go. There you have it. So if you take a look at the XP metrics, guys. I already told you guys 2 successful plays for Texas, 10 for Iowa State. So the explosive play yards per down. Let's look at the total XP yards. First off, is 43 total XP yards for the entire game for Texas on 2 plays. They had 1 play for 19 yards on a first down, and 1 play for 24 yards on a third down. And that 43 yards equaled 18.3% of the total yardage for Texas. That's horrible. Usually you want your XP yards to be above 50%. That lets you know that you're an explosive offense or semi-explosive, and people respect the deep ball. People respect the talent that's on your team. People respect that your guys have the ability to get out there and get it and take it to the house on every play if need be. They don't, 18% is garbage. And that's what Texas did. 18% of their total yards were XP yards, explosive play yards. Now, if you look at Iowa State had 251 XP yards, explosive play yards, at nearly 53% of their total yardage was XP yards. And all their yards were on first and second down, meaning that they got us early and they got us often. It's pretty funny. Early and often, they got us first down. 178 of their XP yards were on first down. So 178 out of 251 yards. And then the other was 73 yards of their 251 yards were second down XP yards, none on third down, and of course, none on fourth down. Usually hardly have any on fourth down. But what this tells you is that to have no explosive play yards on third down means that one or two things. Either the third downs that Iowa State had were so favorable, meaning 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, so they didn't have to get explosive plays. You just hand it off to the Brees Hall and let him do his thing and get a first down. Or they were moving the chains so well that they were hardly getting the third downs. So it's one or the other. Those are the two things that happen in this game, and that is why Iowa State's explosive play yards on third down were non-existent, because they were getting this early and often on first and second down. So just think about that for a minute. So this tells you 251 yards. So 53% of Iowa State's total yards were explosive plays. So 251 yards. So 53% of Iowa State's yardage came on first and second down. It's crazy, isn't it? Probably more. More came in first and second down. But just probably like 70 or 80% of the yards came on first and second down. I'm going to check that metric out, and I'll put it up on Twitter here in a minute. I won't do the per quarter metrics. It's pretty much the same. Hey, guys, it is what it is. It's a lot to a little. A lot to a little, man. Texas had 2 explosive plays. And Iowa State had 10. So there you have it. That's what I got. I'm actually tracking more than that. Let's take a look. Looks like my stacks for the explosive plays is not what I thought. No, that's right. That is right. Texas there you go. He had 2 explosive plays. Iowa State, 10. There it is. 2 explosive plays to 10. So there it is. One is supposed to play in the second quarter, one in the fourth quarter for Texas, two in the first quarter for Iowa State, one in the second quarter, four in the third quarter for Iowa State, and three in the fourth quarter. But guys, that is the metrics. That is the charts. We're not going to talk too much about this, just about the stats, because guess what? What's there to talk about? Texas got their butts handed to them. They got whooped. They got spanked for the fourth game in a row. Now we play Kansas. After Kansas, I think it's Kansas. And after Kansas, West Virginia. And after West Virginia is Kansas State. And if Texas wins out, they went out and they go 7-5. Way to go. If they don't, which I don't expect them to, Texas has a real good shot of losing. Texas doesn't have the luxury of overlooking anybody. Texas can get beat by Kansas next week. That would be freaking hilarious. Not really. I'm a Texas grad. That would not be hilarious. But Texas, I think Texas will get past Kansas this week. Texas has a shot at getting beat by West Virginia and a shot at getting beat by Kansas State as well. Texas could finish 5-7 this year. Think about that for a minute. 5-7. All gas, no brakes. So, yeah, what a season this has been so far. And I don't think the season that many fans thought was going to happen this year, but it is what it is. I put a message up on Twitter today that, it's kind of hard to kind of waste your time. And I shouldn't say waste time. I was a little bit heated, guys. You guys know I'm going to always watch Texas. I'm a Longhorn grad. I watch Texas every freaking weekend. I block off my schedule. I was just venting. Had a little steam on me, right? I wasn't feeling it right then. But hey, horns are always up. You guys know that. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the next game. With the recent news also that Josh Moore is in the transfer portal now. So who steps up for him? Wasn't the best game for him anyway. He didn't have the best season so far. He didn't do what we thought he was going to do. But talking about players, let's go into a few player stats. I'm not going to give you a player card for this because the stats are so pedestrian, but the leading receiver when it comes to NCN receiving is Josh Moore, who we just talked about, at 54.16 NCN receiving, 3 targets, 2 receptions for 32 yards, 1 first down, 1 explosive play, and both his receptions were successful plays. The next guy on the list when it comes to NCN receiving is Xavier Worthy, 35.15, 2 receptions on 7 targets, 23 yards, 2 first downs, 1 TD, 1 explosive play, and 2 successful plays. And that was it. Really and truly, that was it. K Brewer, 2 receptions, 4 targets, 3 yards, horrible, and a drop. So it's negative 18.7. So basically a negative 19 NCN offense. And Bijan and Keelan, not the best numbers at all either. So Bijan 28.14, Keelan negative 44.34 when it comes to NCN receiving. Now on the rushing side of the house, Bijan Robinson 19.73 this game. 18 rushes, 90 yards, 5 first downs, no touchdowns, no explosive plays, 8 successful plays. So 8 out of 18, 44.44% successful play per attempt. And he had a fumble. And so that fumble really changed everything. Now, if Bijan doesn't have that fumble, his NCN goes up to 44.92, which is above the 40-point average. But he had a fumble. And the most important thing a running back and a wide receiver have to do is keep your hands on the ball. Roshan had a NCN of 43.24, 5 attempts, 19 yards, 3.8 yards carry, 1 first down, three successful plays. Keelan Robinson, there's a Keelan Robinson sign, guys. 3 plays, 18 yards, 6 yards per carry, 1 first down, 3 successful plays. But that was all in the last drive of the game. All right, the last 2 drives of the game. Let's talk about Roshan Johnson right quick. One thing that I love about Roshan, and I do love about Roshan, it's got to be one of the most selfless players on this team, one of the most unselfish players on this team. Everybody knows he came in as a highly touted wide receiver. Highly touted quarterback. We're very thin at the running back position. Volunteers with the previous staff to go play running back, and it's been a staple there since his freshman year. One thing I loved about what Rojo did this game, he got in the grill of somebody. For Iowa State, for just a little bit of chippiness on the play. Roshan got in that face. That's what you expect your offensive lineman to do. That's what you expect them big boys, them big nasties to do. Get off my dude. Now Rojo did that. That's some dog in us, some grit. We need players like that. We need guys that are going to stick up for each other. We had the Texas Roundtable. Myself, Steven from FP, Fanatic Perspective, Texas Homer, Texas Platinum, Texas Football Talk, Lando Show. We all talked about this, and I said when I was at Texas, we had guys that had dog in them. The players coached the team. Yeah, Mac Brown coached, and Mad Dog was his strength coach, and we had offense coordinator, we had the defensive coordinators, the whole nine. But that was a player driven team. Vince Young heading up 7-on-7s. RT at the 7-on-7s as well. The Shipley, he even brought his little brother before he even came to UT. He had to have been about 12 or 13 years old. He was on the field on 7-on-7s. Terrell Brown, even the offensive linemen who couldn't even play in the 7-on-7s, they were there. The Jay Scotts and, the Lionel Guards, rest in peace. And, it was just, they had guys there that were able to coach this team without having Mac Brown and the coordinators coach this team. And that's what this team is missing, man. They need some of that leadership. But it's good to see guys like Rojo step up, show some grit, show some fight, and understand that these are your brothers. You guys know that I'm in the military. You fight for your brothers. You fight for the person next to you. And I think this team really needs to get to that, fighting for each other. They got 3 more games in the season. They better fight hard. They better fight hard because they need it. And it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. So I still got trust in Sark. We'll see what's going to happen. I give them the benefit of the doubt in the first season, but some things need to happen. They got to hit that transfer portal hard for some offensive linemen here, and recruit hard for some linemen. So on that note, guys, man, I'm out, man. Don't be afraid to fail. Outgrow your environment, understand your brilliance, man. Again, guys, manscaped.com, 20% off promo code NinosCorner at manscaped.com. Also 10% promo code NCPeeps10 at NinosCornerMerch.com. But on that note, guys, man, like I always tell you guys, do you, man. Love you guys out. Salute. Ninos Corner out.